Hey everyone, Luciano Catrone from Bold Music here. Today we're going to be answering the question at hand, which is what is the best age to begin taking piano lessons? Let me just start off by saying whether you're 4 years old, 24 years old, 64 years old, it is never too late to start taking on piano lessons. I actually started at the age of 7 while my dad started in his early 40s, and we both came out to be exceptional musicians. So I believe there is no direct answer to this question. Of course, there are going to be factors that have a direct effect on certain age groups and their paces of learning. So, for example, there's a term known as fine motor skills. These are things like sitting, standing, walking, jumping, running, so on and so forth. These skills and movement specifically, we start to develop between the ages of typically 4 to 7 years old. And these skills actually have a direct correlation with our hand-eye coordination, which is extremely relevant when playing piano. The ability to coordinate both hands at the same time, whether you're playing different lines of music, different rhythms, sometimes you're playing different dynamics in each hand, that requires a lot of hand-eye coordination. And so, if you're between the ages of 4 and 7 or even younger, for that matter, then it's going to probably take a little longer to learn a piece of music than it would for an adult. This is completely normal. An adult has already had that stage in their life where they've developed these fine motor skills, while a toddler, anyone below the age of 7, typically has not fully developed these skills yet. Another factor that can affect a certain age group when learning piano is their motivation and interest towards the instrument. So you can ask questions like, what is their motivation and interest? Like, why did they want to start taking lessons in the first place? Did someone, play piano on the street one day and they walked by and felt inspired? Do they consider practice a chore rather than fun? Maybe they have a sibling or a parent that plays in the household, and that alone was enough to spark an interest in their mind, which that was the case for me. My sister and my father were both taking part in private lessons with our neighbor across the street. So that was my story, but all of the answers to those questions have a direct effect on your motivation and interest towards learning a new instrument. That has a lot to do with the retention rate, and how long you stick with taking on learning a new instrument. If you have the motivation and the interest to just shoot for the stars and go for it, you stick with it for a long time, then you're going to come out to be really good, as opposed to, let's say, your guardian or parent signed up for lessons for you, but you don't have the motivation or interest for the instrument and it just feels like a chore to practice. Then obviously it's going to take a lot longer to learn certain exercises, different pieces of music, because the motivation and the interest is not there. And for the sake of time, we'll go over one last example, which is attention span. Learning to play piano requires a lot of attention span. It requires a lot of focus and attentiveness. And so, again, for those age groups, 7 years old and younger, it's very typical to see their attention span being a lot shorter than that of an adult. Again, this is completely normal. We're human. This is the way we're made. And so, if you're within that age group, you're younger. I think going back to the second factor, if you have the motivation and the interest, this is something you can easily overcome. If the motivation and the interest is there, you stay focused, you stay attentive during the lesson, you're listening with open ears to what your instructor has to say, then this will be no deter to your success as a musician and a pianist learning to play piano for the first time. But of course, there will be those moments where, something happens throughout the lesson. Maybe you have like a dog or a cat in the house and he walks by. Like, it's easier for a toddler or a kid to be distracted by little things like that. Of course, an adult can easily be distracted as well, but we typically see it in the age groups 7 and under. So in conclusion, there is no direct answer as to what the best age to start taking piano lessons is. With a combination of the fine motor skills, motivation, and interest in learning, as well as, a focused and attentive mindset, then any and all ages can, tackle their dreams of becoming a great pianist and musician. So, yeah, I hope this video was of interest to you. I hope it helped answer your questions. And until next time, take care, guys.